everybody, today's video is going to be about referencing. We're going to look at a simpler way to reference using the if function and the ultimate way to reference using the VLOOKUP. This video is going to be emphasizing on the VLOOKUP. While there are other lookup functions, we're going to be focusing on the VLOOKUP for today. Let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to get into the demo. Right, we have a student performance data set which consists of various characteristics of different students as well as their scores. Today we're going to be giving them remarks and grades based on their score. We don't want to give them their remarks and grades based on each score, so we're going to find the average of their maths, reading and writing score. So what we do here is we'll type in the equal sign and then AV. We can see Microsoft has given us an option of different AV functions, but what we want here is the average. So we scroll down to the average and we can see returns the average bracket arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can either be numbers, names, arrays, references that contain numbers. So we're going to go ahead and select that particular one and then go to our range of values that we want to get the average for. We close this bracket and we hit enter. We can see that we have a decimal number that is really lengthy, so what we're going to do now is reduce this to 2 decimal places so it all makes sense. Now we have the average for the very first student, so we're going to go here. We see our crosshair, double tap on that and it populates the average for every student in the class. Great. We can see some students are high flyers with 92, while some are struggling a little with scores like 49 and 26 we have over here. So we want to give them the remark. We can do a simple if by doing if equal sign here. When we put the if, you can see we have different if conditions. We're going to be using the plain if today. And then we select that. It gives us a guide on how to populate these values by saying what it wants now is the logic test. The logic test is the condition we want our if to pass. So we want to say if this value, right, is greater than or equal to, or let's just stick with greater than. If it's greater than 49, we can give the person value if through, we can give the person a pass. And if it's false, we have to give the person a fail. And that is not our fault. And then we close this bracket and hit enter. We can see that the person with 72.67 has passed. Once again, we flash fill our formula across by doing this. Great. So now we've used our if condition to reference the students that have passed and the students that have failed based on the average of their scores. We want to now fill in their grades, but we don't want to do it manually. And if we were to write an if statement, that would be very lengthy and cumbersome. So we're going to use the VLOOKUP function. So what we do here now is say equal to, and we say V. We can see we have lots of functions with V, and then we go to our VLOOKUP. You see it has a definition as well. It says looks for a value in the leftmost column of a table and then returns a value in the same row from a column you specify. By default, the table must be sorted in ascending order. This is important, especially when you want to do a true match. In this case, we are doing a true match, so it's important that our data is in ascending order. If you look at our grade table, we can see that it is in ascending order. So click on VLOOKUP and you can see it has prompted us to give us the lookup value. So the lookup value here will be our average. And then we can say comma and it moves to the table array. So the table array is what we have over here. So we're going to select this Yes, and then we're going to fix these values with our F4 to make sure that when we scroll down, the formula doesn't select empty spaces. So now we go to the comma again and say the column index. So we want it to look for the grade over here, which is 1, 2. So we say 2, and then next our match. So because we are trying to say if anybody gets a score higher than 90, they should be on A, higher than 80 between 90 should be B, we want to do an approximate match, not a true match, not an exact match. So we do this and we close the bracket and hit enter. We can see that this guy who has 72.67 has the grade of C. So we're going to go ahead and flash fill for all the grades. So here we can see now that we have populated the grades for each student so simply, so fast, without errors. So this is how VLOOKUP works. If you have any confusions, if you have any issues, please leave it in the comment section below. I will be very happy to answer your questions. In the next video, I'm going to be talking about the HLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP, which are quite similar to the VLOOKUP but implemented slightly different. Thank you so much for watching.